Greetings, YouTube. It's been a really long time since I have been here on the good old internet, and that is because I spent all of Mercury retrograde sick as a dog, and it's an interesting story. I'll be talking about it either this weekend for Sunday service or some other time, sometime soon, because I do think it is very interesting that I managed to get sick the day that Mercury retrograde started and then more or less get better the day that it ended. So a lot to be said about that, but that's not what we're doing today. Today we are doing tarot for the month ahead for December. We are now in December. I honestly can't believe that the year has zoomed by so quickly. Kind of crazy. And hopefully everyone is having a nice time. And if you are viewing live, feel free to say what is up in the chat. Let me know who you are and where you are viewing from. I always like to see who is around and what y'all have to say. And I've also got a bunch of oracle decks here to pull some cards from just to see what else we can know about December, because December does tend to be a really big month for a lot of people, obviously, because there's Christmas, there's all of that like big stuff. A lot of people have time off work. We're leaning into a new year. So regardless, I think, of whether or not people are witchy or tarot vibey, a lot of people are spending this time to take some time off to reflect and all of that, and also plan for the next year's energy. So there's a lot going on. And of course, the most important holiday of December is my birthday, December 13th. So mark your calendars. Very important. All right. So let's just check in the vibes. And I may or may not cough at some point. We will see, because I still cannot sleep through the night without coughing. So it's been an interesting journey to be so incredibly sick for so long. Not my favorite. So yeah, more on that later. I feel like I have a lot to say about getting sick during Mercury retrograde, but we'll leave that for another time. Let's give these a little shuffle. And I know there's a lot of y'all here who are new on the channel, so thank you so much for being here, all of my new folks. And also, if you've been here for a really long time, welcome to you as well. So I read cards at a market a few days ago, and so I think these need a big refresh from everyone else's vibes. So let's just see. And if you are a newer tarot reader, yeah, sometimes it does take a little bit of shuffling to really make sure the energy is correct for the reading. So if you're shuffling for a little while, don't second guess yourself. It's okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh. We have got some incredibly interesting cards right off the gate. We've got 3 major arcana out of 4 cards that I just pulled. Very interesting. Also 3 reversals out of everything I just pulled. Interesting stuff. All right, so I'm going to leave that there for now. And I actually want to start off with a few oracle cards just for fun. And then we'll end off with a few oracle cards just for fun. So I call this one the Bitchy Oracle. And everyone always asks me where they can get this, and I can't help you. I have no idea. This was actually a gift from one of my students many years ago, and it has become very much a crowd favorite up in here. So I apologize in advance that I will not be able to tell you where to get this. But all right, let's just set the stage for the energy. What does the Bitchy Oracle want to tell us right now? And this lady actually also has a tarot deck out, which I did a walkthrough of on here a few months ago. All right, what do we need to know for December from the Bitchy Oracle? Devil is in the detail. So for this month of December, it is going to be really important to be meticulous, to be someone who does pay attention to the details of everything rather than just being kind of sloppy. We don't need to be sloppy this month. We need to be intentional, decisive, observant, analytical. So I know December, a lot of people just want to, fuck off and do nothing and just drink and party and whatever and just like chill. But despite the chilling, we do want to pay attention to the details of what we're doing, whether that's the invitations that we are accepting or rejecting, whether that is our goals and plans for the new year, whether that is what is revealed about our relationships this month. Pay attention to the details, because It's going to reveal some things. For a completely different vibe, I'm going to pull one from the Angel Numbers deck. And to be honest, I was very skeptical about this deck at first. So I was like, really? Each card just has a number and then a little phrase, but it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So let's just give these a little shuffle. And then later on, I've got the Lilith Oracle. So we got some angel cards and then a Lilith card. So just to balance us out. And then I've also got my 2 self-care decks as well that I'll be pulling from at the end. So let's see, what does the Angel Oracle want to tell us for December? Ooh, I like this. So I'll read it to y'all. 746, big decisions. The steps you must take have been revealed. The choice you need to make presently has already been decided in your heart. Your angels validate that you know what to do. Looking within is the only work that is left. Right now, ask your angels to reveal the answer to the big question in your life as you sit quietly in meditation. Allow that answer to find you. It's interesting because I do feel like a lot of people do make these big decisions at the end of the year, right? December is a time of transition, of moving from one thing to the other, of taking time off work for many people. You know, it's the transition between one year to the next. And I love that that transition is marked by Sagittarius, my favorite sign, and then Capricorn, right? Because Sagittarius energy, season we're in right now, is all about philosophy, contemplation, integrity, optimism, luck. And so if we're in Sagittarius season, it's actually a great time to be reflecting on all of this stuff and philosophizing around what do we want to do next. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the big picture sign. And then, of course, moving into Capricorn, a little bit different, ruled by Saturn. And so this transitional energy from one year to the next, it does make sense that it's important to be thinking about these big decisions, thinking about details. So that is going to be what is going to start us off. And now we are going to lean into the fun tarot stuff. So also excuse my sniffling. I'm still like kind of sick. I'm like getting there. But after 3.5 weeks, I'm like, I need to actually do something. So, all right. So we have got 3 out of 4 of these cards are majors. Very fucking interesting vibes. I'll show you guys and then we'll talk about it one by one. Isn't this an interesting pull for December? And so I think December for a lot of people is going to end up being a bit of a significant time, a bit of a wham pow type of vibe for the month. Why am I saying that? Because we've got so many major arcanas right off the gate. Those of you who have been here for a while and who have followed a lot of these month ahead readings will know that we don't usually start off with this many major arcanas, just boom, right out the gate. This is quite unusual in the readings for the month ahead. And so I think for December, we all need to prepare for some big changes to be happening, some big energies to be swirling around us. I do think there's going to be a lot going on with that. So let's talk about these one by one. And these numbers are interesting too. So of course, we've got Temperance, the Sagittarius card, fascinatingly. And this is our only card that is upright. And so if we're going to see this card as a bit of a guide for us throughout December, we can think about it as suggesting that we really need to be grounded in our integrity. And this does relate to the big decisions angel card, as well as the devil is in the detail bitchy oracle card as well. Temperance for me is all about integrity, balance, integration. And so whatever we learned from Mercury retrograde, which has just ended, can we integrate that into the full picture of our selfhood moving forward? Because whatever we've experienced in retrograde throughout the year, the eclipse season that hit us, I think it was around September, whatever it is that we've learned, experienced, let go of, come to terms with, are we able to integrate that, or are we still kind of in this space of separation? You'll notice this Temperance card is very integrated. We've got aspects of each of the 4 elements. We've got a foot in the water. We've got a foot on land. There's some balance there, pouring into our own cup. There's a lot going on here. And so this card is asking us to operate in December from a space of integrity, integration, and balance. Don't be reactive. Don't operate from a space of being triggered or activated or whatever. Take those deep breaths. Operate from a space of maturity. Ground yourself in that. Connect to the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, of course. And I also want to say, 'cause this is going to sound so cheesy, but connect to your angel nature. I know that sounds fucking weird for a witchy person to say who is not Christian, but for whatever reason, I feel called to say that. We've got an angel in this card. Can you connect to your best self this month? December often is a time of feeling triggered, feeling upset. Sometimes family drama can happen. We are often in these high stakes situations. Everyone's spending a lot of money in December usually. Are you able to stay cool, calm, and collected throughout that process? Are you able to stay in your integrity throughout whatever experiences you're having, throughout whatever details you need to pay attention to, throughout whatever big decisions are in your vicinity? Can you stay grounded through that? And since all these other cards so far are reversed, and this one is the only upright one so far, I would say that this card is the key to how we're going to survive this month and how we're going to get the best result from showing up in December. Very fun card to start us off. So right now, let's move to our fun reversals. Interesting energy. I'm actually going to talk about the other two majors first before we get to the minor. Very interesting. The Lover's reverse. The other historical name for this card is the Choice, or the Two Roads. And so the reversal, to me, interestingly, is what big decisions, what choices are we avoiding? Some of us might be, how to phrase this, really in kind of a seismic shift kind of headspace for December. It really is a time of transition. And this card sometimes is about the choice between what we feel like we should do and then what our heart and soul and all of that feels called to do or feels called to move towards. There is sometimes a heart-head conflict with this card, or even just a heart external obligation aspect with this card. And so for a December card, this does make some sense, since a lot of us are going to be seeing, let's say, extended family for the holidays. And there's going to be those questions around, why aren't you married yet? Why don't you have kids? Or when are you having kids? What's going on with school? What's going on with your job? A lot of families are going to be reminding people that of their deficiencies or what's not good enough or whatever. Or even if your family is A+ great, there could still be some triggers there. And family obligation is something that often does pull people in certain ways. And that can sometimes throw us off our path that is ours to walk. And so that is something to really consider this month, right? What are the choices that we're making in our life? Are we operating from a space of integrity and groundedness in the self and integration of the self? Or are we avoiding some of the big choices that we know that we need to make in order to take ownership and authorship of our life's journey and life path? Don't avoid the choices. You kind of can't avoid them anymore, I would say. And so a lot of us are going to have to make some big decisions in December, or at least begin to stop blocking the decisions. We can only push certain things under the rug for so long. Avoidance can only get us so far. And so I want you guys to keep that in mind as well. It's an interesting one. Empress reverse also has come to say hello. So I do love the Empress card. The Empress is honestly one of my faves. And so the Empress reversed kind of inspires me to ask, are there ways that you have been kind of avoiding your feminine energy, especially if you're a woman? Have you been paying enough attention to your body? Have you been spending enough time luxuriating in the senses and in sensory experience? You'll notice there's pretty much no hard lines, more or less, in this card. And so can you soften this month? Can you give yourself permission to be softer and to operate from a space of soft power as well? Because the Empress reminds us that power does not have to be intense, like we see with the Emperor and like we see with some of the kings and even some of the queens in the deck. The Empress is operating from a space of power and sovereignty. It's just a little bit different. And so for this month, I would say, since we got this card reversed, experiment with different types of soft power. And I don't mean manipulation. That's not what this card is about. But more, can you be more aware of how you're communicating to others, and also more aware of how you're communicating to yourself and treating yourself? And I know that a lot of majors can sound a little bit abstract. The minors often are a lot more practical, a lot more immediately obvious what they're about. But the lesson of majors, in my opinion, is often bigger, more significant, longer lasting, more difficult to grasp. Absolutely. The majors are designed that way. Harder lessons, takes longer to learn, often harder to integrate, harder to put into practice. And that is the mysticism of December. Deal with it, y'all. That's how it is. Interesting stuff. And so next up, Seven of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. So why are we avoiding reflecting on our accomplishments? Reflecting on what we've been able to grow and cultivate in our life so far? We got this reversed. Sometimes we can put our head in the sand around certain big choices we need to make. But sometimes we can also put our head in the sand around how far we've come and how much we've grown, how much we've cultivated, how much we've created. And so I think in order to make some of the big decisions we need to make this month, it is going to be really crucial for us to ground in this space of self-appreciation, giving ourselves some credit, and really connecting to the reality of what we've been able to physically manifest. That's going to be assets, it's going to be money, that's going to be work accomplishments, it's going to be keeping a roof over our head, it's going to be affording food, it's going to be all of that material stuff. And this can also be wins around the body. So if you're a gym person, if you've cleaned up your eating, all of that stuff, whatever it is that you need to give yourself credit for in the physical material space, give yourself that credit. That is the only thing, I think, so far, that can ground us to make some of these big decisions and big choices that we've got ahead of us. So I kind of like that as like a little lay of the land to get us started. I'm also going to sip my coffee. I kind of just woke up a little bit ago. I'm a big like Yeti mug person. I don't know if you guys can see the label. All right. What else do we need to know about December? So I'm going to pull some cards for challenges and opportunities. Interesting. And I'm also going to add some oracle cards to this because why not? Okay, cool. I dig this. All right, y'all. Challenges. Let's do that first. Interesting series of cards. Challenges for December. And also, we have an oracle card for that. And it says, reveal your innermost thoughts. So for a challenge to everyone for December, reveal your innermost thoughts to yourself and also to others. So speak your truth to yourself and to others. That is the challenge for this month from this lovely oracle card. How fun is that? Just like hugging a skull, some snakes chilling. Unless they're not to like. We love that. Okay, also, challenge for December. New love, new relationships. If you are someone who is dating, this bodes quite well for that. And since this has come up in the challenge position, I don't necessarily see it as a negative, especially since this card is upright. But I do think that whatever dating or new love or whatever looks like for folks this month, there's going to be some interesting things to navigate. Nothing bad, But challenge yourself to be open to new love or just new connections, new emotional connections. And if that doesn't resonate, what I would say is for you, this card is likely around opening up to your intuition and your emotional self. Linked to this. Open the channels of communication to yourself and to others. We can only meet others to the extent that we've met ourselves. A lot of people, for some reason, do not understand this and then blame everyone else for their drama. But it's like, no, you are the drama. Begin by knowing yourself, communicating that. Be open-hearted, I would say, in your connections. That's the challenge. And we've also got some other cards here for the challenge for December. Start with this one. Money. Asking for money. Receiving money. Giving other people money. Depending on where you're at in this card, so I think depending on who is watching this, some of y'all are going to be the person giving money and some of y'all are going to be the person receiving money. And so I don't know what it's like for all y'all watching, what countries you guys are from, but at least in Canada, there's like a recession going on right now. It's kind of intense. And so a lot of people are not having a good time financially. I know most of you guys are American. I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know if you guys are having similar stuff. I don't know. But this is going to be a time where finances might be a concern. And so if you have a business, you might be having a little bit of financial issues this month. If you are someone who you're doing really well, the challenge for you might be that a lot of people are asking you for help. And so there's going to be some challenges for December around giving and receiving money. That being said, the card is upright. It's not reversed. So that means this energy is not blocked. So those of you who are in a space of generosity, you likely will be able to flow that money, that energy towards your loved ones who need it, who need a little bit of help. And those of you who are asking for help, it's also likely that you're going to be able to receive that financial help without too much trouble. We can also think about this as just flows of money. So the importance of supporting small business around this time of year, that type of thing. It's a fun one. I do like that card. It's like a bit of a complicated one, but it's kind of fun. Next up, Magician Reversed. So to me, this card for this particular reading is about unblocking our capacity to manifest the life that we want. You've got everything that you need on your little table here. Why is it that you can't see that or connect to that? So there's some blocked manifesting energy for December. So keep that in mind, work with it, also work against it. See if you can't unblock it. What are your blockages to connecting with the infinite potential and infinite creative energy? Because we see this lovely infinity symbol here that you've got within yourself. Why are you blocking that? Why are you denying that you've got that within you? Really do some like long, dark nights of the soul contemplation and journaling and whatever it is that you need to do to sort out why are you blocking yourself. And yes, I think this is a you blocking yourself problem for those of you for whom this resonates. And if you're listening and you're like, my manifestation is on fleek, I don't know what you're talking about, wonderful, wonderful. It could probably be even better. What else could you do differently? What mindset stuff do you need to shift in order to activate that next level of creation? We always have more to learn. Each and every one of us. That counts for me too, y'all. All right, so now we've got the opportunities of December. And we're going to start off with an oracle card. Control your thoughts and you will control your life. What did I just say? Control your thoughts and you will control your life. A lot of people allow themselves to be passengers in their own life and victims of their own brain. As a choice, you don't have to do that. Another way is possible. So the opportunity for December, control your thoughts and you will control your life. Take ownership over yourself and what is going on inside you. 7 of Wands, it's an opportunity to self-advocate, to fight for yourself, to defend yourself against others, and also to protect your energy. Wands are energy. Wands are motivation. Wands are life force. That spark, right? That we all need to kind of keep us going. It's okay to say no and have boundaries this month. All of these little wands at the bottom here could be people attacking you, but it could also just be people who are asking for your time. And these all could be like offers to go to parties or something. And this can just be you being like, I am so tired and I need to take some time for myself and I need to protect my energy. I would love to go to your party, but this month I'm chilling at home by myself. Thank you. Love you. Bye. So whatever it is about your own energy that you need to protect, this is a nudge to give yourself permission to do that. You'll notice this card is not reversed. Boundaries. And use your own energy, your own spark, your own inner fire as a barometer. If your fire of yourself is burning brightly, you probably have to be a little bit less aggressive on this offense. But if your spark is almost dead and that candle is about to burn out, you probably are going to have to be a lot more protective of yourself, your energy. And this skill of boundaries is something that will help you in all areas of life, kind of for the rest of your life, right? So it's a really important skill to learn. December is a great time to learn it. Because we've got a lot of people often pulling on our heartstrings, family, blah, 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 etc. Next up, King of Cups reversed and Knight of Pentacles reversed. Very interesting. So court cards for me are often parts of the self, and we see, interestingly, both reversed, Knight and the King. And I would say these are the more masculine energy coded court cards. I personally would say the Page and the Queen are more feminine energy coded. However, they are in the feminine energy coded suits, the Cups and the Pentacles. So there's an interesting kind of like yin-yang balance here with these cards that we've pulled. And so the opportunity here to activate different parts of ourself, to connect with different parts of ourself. The King aspect of self, the Knight aspect of self. Kings tend to be around responsibility, stepping into our authority, having impact over others. Knights do tend to be around movement. However, this is the only Knight that is completely still. So we're going to want to make sure that we're not stagnating. So December can be a time for contemplation. But we want to make sure that that stillness is, the word that's coming to mind is useful. That's not quite what I mean. That the rest is restful, that this stillness is doing something for us, that we are perhaps journaling, making art, reading, going on a nice walk in the forest, going to the sauna, something material, since this is Pentacles, physical, that is going to nurture us in the stillness. This is not doom scrolling on the internet for 5 hours and like posting crazy shit on Reddit and then wondering, where did the time go? And then you've done nothing with your life. That is not restful. That is not a useful pause. If we're going to take a pause this month, we want to make sure that we're working with that pause in a way that is fruitful, that is growth oriented, and that is actually nourishing on a biological level in like a deep, meaningful kind of way. Can we do that? I think we can. Many people choose not to, but that's okay. Not my problem. Hopefully that is also not your problem. King of Cups reversed. All right. The King of Cups reversed for me often does hint at someone who is like a little bit manipulative, a little bit narcissistic. And so if this is you, calling you guys out, if this is you or someone that you are close to, I would say the opportunity here is to be aware of it and don't get sucked into it. Don't get sucked into it. It is possible to float above the fray of people's stuff. And when we are embodying the upright King of Cups, we're able to touch in with that emotional intelligence at a very high level and to be able to keep our cool no matter what the situation is emotionally. We're not ruled by our emotions. We're able to rule our own emotions, which brings us back to this Oracle card. Control your thoughts and you will control your life. And I would also say if you can control your emotions, you can also control your life. And I would almost say that controlling our emotions is perhaps more important than controlling our thoughts, though of course they are related. So there's a lot of boundaries, self-control stuff with that, which is kind of fun. So I really like these cards. These are kind of interesting. And anyone who is watching live, feel free to say hello as I sip some more coffee. I kind of like this as a reading for December, to be honest. And I love these kind of sassy oracles. All right. Is that it? No, I want 2 more cards and then we'll go to the oracles, the rest of the oracles. Okay. How about the end of December, that time between Christmas and New Year's? How can we best make use of that time and that energy, that beautiful liminal space? So I love that time between Christmas and New Year's. Let's see. Interesting combo. We've got so many majors in this reading, my friends. It's like insane. There we go. Interesting. So, 3 of Pentacles reversed. It's interesting because this is the only card that does kind of explicitly reference learning and schooling. Obviously, it's kind of implied in some of the other ones, but for me, this one is very specific around mentorship. Be open to mentorship. Be open to learning other perspectives. Be open to asking other people for help. That does not make you weak. It does not make you dumb. It does not make that there's anything wrong with you. It's okay to ask for mentorship. And so since this is December and a lot of people are going to be with family, like it's okay to ask your family for advice, mentorship, all of that. If you're in school, it's okay to ask your supervisors, your teachers. If you're a worker type of person, like ask your boss, like your manager, whatever. I don't know how that shit works, but ask people for assistance, ask people for help. That can be an older sibling, maybe, that you look up to, an older cousin, whatever happens to be, an aunt and uncle. Like ask, it could be even a friend, like ask people for assistance. Don't block that. Don't block the assistance and help and mentorship of other people. And also on the flip side, if people ask you for mentorship and help, why not offer? That's what the season is all about. Pass it on. We can build the best and the things that are going to last longest when we get insight from others and when we help others. I know it sounds very cheesy, but don't be afraid of other people. Don't isolate. Come together. And come together from a space of learning, being open to learning and being open to teaching. Each of us has got our skills and also our weaknesses. Each of us has our knowledge that we can pass on and help others. And each of us has our things that we know absolutely nothing about. Be open to that exchange where you are both student and mentor. The roles can change. Be open to that in that liminal time. Even maybe from like your one relative that you never see who you think is like kind of crazy. Just saying. Emperor. Don't let this time be so unstructured that it just goes like that. Do create some structure for yourself in this liminal space, whether that is keeping a gym routine, keeping like a food cooking, meal prep routine, waking up at a certain time every day, going to bed at a certain time every day. Do, give yourself some boundaries and rules and structure in this time. Like if you want to make sure that you're painting every day, set aside that time. When are you going to do it? Is it going to be like 5 to 7 p.m. every night you're going to paint, or in the morning? If you don't schedule it, it's probably not going to happen during this liminal space. It's like a time vortex. So schedule in and be rigid around what you actually do want to spend your time doing during this time. I love that. All right, y'all, time for the remaining oracle cards. So the other decks I'm going to be pulling from, self-care decks for funsies, and then to balance out the angel numbers deck, the Lilith deck. So I'm actually going to pull from the Lilith deck first. So I don't personally work with Lilith, but interestingly, a lot of my clients do. So I don't know what that's about. But she's a popular dude these days, it seems like. Okay, Lilith Oracle. What do we need to know for December? What wisdom do you have to share with us? I'm loving like the black edges of this deck. I feel like a lot of decks these days are having like colored edges, which I think is excellent. It's a welcome change. All right, let's see. And weren't we just talking about inner fire? Fire inspiration. I trusted my inner flame and released the pressure to seek external inspiration constantly. We were literally just talking about this. So I love that as a card for us for December. Especially since, you know, we've got solstice in December. In Toronto, there is, I think, a few solstice like thingies, like events, where they actually have an effigy that they burn to mark the return of the light. It's pretty fun. So think about that this December. I love it. All right, so self-care oracles. What do we need to do to take care of ourselves? For December, I would say first thing, set up your Christmas tree. I'm looking at mine right now, and it's like such a vibe. Such a vibe. Kindness. What if being kind to yourself really could change everything? It's interesting because I feel like a lot of people have an easy time. This is maybe not fully true because I think a lot of people are unhinged, crazy people these days. But for a lot of people, it's easier for them to be kind to others rather than kind to themselves. It's like they are so nice to everyone else, but their self-talk like fucking sucks. So if that's you, throw some of that love back on yourself. That's my homework. All right, the other self-care deck. What else do we need? Beauty ritual. To me, this relates to that Empress card we pulled earlier. This is funny to me because I'm getting my nails done later today. Beauty ritual. Whatever that means to you. Maybe there's some men watching this and you guys are going to be like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Go get your hair done. Get a fade. Get a pedicure. No one likes sharp toenails. We don't like that. Do whatever self-care stuff around your body that you need to do. That's what I think the message is of that one. All right, y'all. And I've got all these viewers when I'm done. How does it always work that way? Hello, everyone who just got here as I'm finishing. If anyone has got any questions, or if you want me to pull an oracle card for you, let me know. I'll be sipping my coffee. I'm going to leave soon, but if anyone does want an oracle card, just say so in the chat. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. See, that's the benefit of being a subscriber. You get to comment to the chat and then maybe get an oracle card. Maybe. Hopefully everyone's doing good. It's nice to be back because I have not been on YouTube or like doing anything on the internet for like a month. So it's been really weird to be basically MIA for an entire month. So it's nice to be back. So I'm going to try to do another YouTube live on Friday. And also I'm going to try to do Sunday service as well. Because like I do want to talk about what it was like to be sick during all of Mercury retrograde. Like literally the entire time. And that it started and ended on the days that Mercury retrograde started and ended. Crazy. So I want to talk about that because I do think there was like a spiritual cleansing element of it because it was the worst. All right. Hello, Embla's Moon. I don't know how to say your name. Which type of oracle card would you like? Because we've got a bunch. But I'm shuffling the Sassy Oracle at the moment, so that'd be my default. But if you want one Sassy Oracle and one something else, let me know what you want. And we'll do it. If anyone else wants something, let me know. I love how my live viewers always picks up like when I'm logging off. It's hilarious. All right, Endless Moon, you've not said anything. So I'm just going to give you this. Relax and expand your vision. I love that. This deck is so fun. I feel like it always tells people exactly what they need to know. Oh, go by my choice for something else? Okay. I'm actually going to give you something from the Lilith Oracle. So let's see what we got here. And if anyone else wants one before I go, let me know, because I've got a client at noon. And another one at 1:30. So let's see. So I put this back in the deck, and then I shuffled. And we got this for you again. Fire Inspiration. So this one is especially true for you. Kind of funny. I love when that happens. Well, I did put that back in and shuffled pretty extensively. Sometimes that does happen. All right, y'all. If no one else wants a card, I'm going to peace out. But I am offering year ahead readings for 2026. They are 2.5 hours. And you can book that on my website if you would like to. So go over to sabrinamscott.com/readings. And I am booking those pretty much now and into January. And I'm really excited. I love doing year ahead readings for people. So how I usually do them is we'll do lessons for the previous year, because I think if we don't do that, then what the hell is the point? We do have to, I think, look backward as well as looking forward. We can't look forward without having a solid understanding of where we've been and what the hell the point of it all was, where we went wrong and what we did well. I think that's incredibly important. So we'll be getting into that, as well as card for the year ahead itself, personal, professional, if people want, or just one card for the entire year. And then I also break it out by month. So one card for each month, and we get into it. So my personal card for November of this year was the World. So it's very interesting to be, it's the last card of the deck. It's balances a lot of things. So it's very interesting that I was kind of sick the whole time, contemplating what all that means. But having a card for each month is a really great way to ground and plan out your entire year and figure out what the lessons are each month, as well as what your focus should be each month as the year kind of keeps rolling through. And I also pull cards for different areas of focus, like different areas of life, whatever the hell that is for you. For some people, it's work. For some people, it's family, health. What else do people ask about? Yeah, love, things like this. And it is something I've been doing for many, 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 many years. And it is something that my clients do find incredibly helpful and grounding as this kind of roadmap for their entire year moving forward. So I am booking those now, sabrinamscott.com/readings. I do recommend booking one sooner rather than later, because why not? It's really, really helpful, especially if you are a beginning reader and you find reading for yourself, it's hard to be as direct with yourself and really know exactly what the meanings all actually are. Having someone else just kind of confidently tell you the business can be incredibly grounding and also very validating, depending on what you're going through. So I would love to do those for y'all. Let me know. Book it. Email me. I know we can figure it out. And what else? I guess that's it for now. If you guys are thinking of Christmas presents for the witchy people in your life, I do have 5 books out. So check it out on Amazon. Just look up my name on Amazon, Sabrina Scott Books. My newest graphic novel is called Body Magic. My newest normal book is called A Witch at Home. Really solid variety of things. I also have a Magic 101 book called Curse and Cure. Magic, Witchcraft for Real Life, whatever it is I called it. So if you're looking for a technique-based 101, 201 intermediate type of book, that is a really, really good choice. A lot of technique-based stuff around magic And if you're looking for something a little bit more chill, a witch at home is really good. I do have a video on here about that, so if you're really curious about that, feel free to check that out. And I've also got a video on here about my new graphic novel, Body Magic, which is a little bit more dark, memoir, witchcraft, trauma type stuff. Not for everyone, but people who've read it do find it very meaningful. All right, y'all, that's it for me for now. Nice to see y'all. Nice to be back. Nice to be able to talk again. Very nice. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Let me know what you thought of this video. I am going to be posting this. Obviously, I'm live right now, but it will be going up, so you can leave a comment and let me know, how did these cards resonate with you for December? What are you looking forward to for this month in terms of what these cards have revealed about what we all need to keep in mind, the challenges of December, the opportunities of December, all of that fun stuff. And of course, if you're not following me on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott, please do so. And I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye. Take care.